So we're here in the Margerum tasting room in Santa Bárbara, right on the ocean, practically. It's my tasting room. I'm Doug Margerum. I'm the owner and winemaker for Margerum Wine Company. And this is a relatively new tasting room for us. We've been open just a few months, but it's a spectacular space, and it's right where the new part of Santa Bárbara is most vibrant, right where most of the people are coming, and it's been a great move for us. The tasting room is here in what's called the Funk Zone in Santa Bárbara, right across the street from the Hotel Californian. But the actual production is made up in the town of Buellton, which is about 45 minutes north of here. That's where our winery is. And then we have an estate vineyard in the little town called Los Olivos, which is probably one of the most beautiful towns in our whole area. The difference between where we are now, which is on the beach in Santa Bárbara, and we're facing directly south, and where the winery and the vineyards are, is night and day. Here is very warm and very tropical, but once you go over the hill and you go to the valleys, which open directly up to the Pacific Ocean, you have this incredible area for growing grapes. It's one of the coldest growing climates in California. And we have we have diurnals. We have the most extreme diurnals that exist in California. It'll be 35 degrees at night and 85 degrees during the day. Changes of temperature between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit are not uncommon. But that means the grapes grow very slowly, and they retain acidity. And the wines are very balanced and very light, and they're from a cold climate, more like a European style wine from Santa Bárbara County. Lower alcohols, higher acid, leaner, tighter, crisper wines that are perfect with food for the table. And that's what you want a wine for the table. We have about 18 acres of vines that are our own vines, and that represents about a third of our entire production. But since the viticultural areas are so different from west to east, west being the coldest and east being the warmest, we buy grapes from different growers that we have been working with for years, from Santa Rita Hills to Los Olivos to all the way to the furthest east vineyard, which is a little area called Happy Canyon. I went to college here in Santa Bárbara at the University of California here in Santa Bárbara. And when I graduated, I had always worked in restaurants, and I was always the guy who knew a little bit more about wine than everybody else, because I had a French girlfriend. And so every summer when I was in college, I went and visited her in France. And we would drink and eat and travel around France. And I was 19 years old. I mean, I was very, very young, but I could drink in France. I couldn't drink in the US. And so I knew somewhat about wine. And we'd always gone to these wine bars in Paris where we'd get glasses of wine. And that was in 1981 when I graduated from college. And in California, there was no wine bars. There was white, which was called Chablis. There was red, which was called Burgundy. And there was pink, which was called rosé. And if you went to a restaurant, those were the three options you had. Red, either Chablis, Burgundy, or rosé, and they were terrible. All the premium wines were only served by the bottle. So I opened a little wine bar with very light food, where we served wine by the glass, where you could get 1/4 of a bottle for 1/4 of the price of the bottle, and it was premium wine. It was a completely new idea. No one could understand that, and people would come in and say, "Oh, $10 for a glass of wine? That's incredible. It's too expensive." And say, "But it's a $40 bottle of wine, and you're getting 1/4. 4 times 10 is 40. It's the same price." And so slowly we convinced people that they could have a more interesting time by having a glass of maybe a rosé to start. and then have a glass of a really high quality Chardonnay from Santa Bárbara with their fish dish. And then they could have a glass of a red wine with the cheese or meat or something like that. So it opened up the possibilities for dining to have all these different food and wine combinations without having to buy a whole bottle of wine.